Wisdom that waits is one that walks away, because nothing good is going to come from a response in an emotionally charged situation. Nothing.
And welcome back once again to the Ask Bo Parrish show. Alongside Bo Parrish, I'm Dave Erickson. If you have a question for Bo, use the hashtag AskBoParrish on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. And the questions are coming in fast and furious. And today has to do with having a thick skin. So often we see people trolling on the internet and sharing their opinions about somebody else. And I have experienced this personally. And Bo, the question is, how do we develop a thick skin and not take things too personally?
Well, I think first of all, it's coming to the realization that everything in life is not about me. And never before has it been easier to have a voice. You mentioned Facebook, Twitter. Gosh, the world now is completely at our disposal for whatever it is we want to say, whatever experience we had at the restaurant, how this new car that we just drove treated us, how we interacted with our friends or not friends in a crowd at this most recent party. It's ridiculous how we tend to take things so personally because we feel as if the world evolves around us. So the question is, how do we become unoffendable? Well, I think it starts with our expectations, in that we simply lower our expectations of ourselves, which alleviates the pressure of being the center of attention 100% of the time. You think about the premium that we place on entertainment and being entertained, is that we're always looking to be that jokester, the one who cracks that prank that makes everyone laugh, as if it's not for me, then this crowd is going to be sorely let down or sorely disappointed. And on the same side, whenever we're interacting with anyone else, perhaps a potential new friend that we don't know a whole lot about, is that we do not look to them to give us immediate gratification, whether it be they tell us a fascinating story, they make us laugh, they do some type of performance, perhaps sing, that impresses me, because all of these things are about me and what I get out of the relationship. And if something goes wrong, well, there's a gap, because I expected one thing and I experienced another. And I think that is where that offensive nature, where I tend to become offended, kicks in, is when that gap between expectation and experience is too much off. So that we start by not taking things so personally, by simply lowering our expectation, which is an extension of lowering our own opinion or our view of ourselves. You know, the epitome of humility is not thinking less of myself. It's just thinking of myself less often. You know, the human mind, they say, has over 3,000 new thoughts every single day. 3,000 new thoughts. I'd be willing to speculate the large majority of those thoughts are completely self-centered.
You know, I started talking about maybe the online world, about being offended by trolls. But one thing when it comes to relationships that I've learned in the past is that if you are having an argument with a spouse or a close friend, sometimes people are addressing the person and not the problem. Therefore, it becomes personal. And my own piece of advice here, because of the online world, is reading between the lines, listening for the actual content of the question or where it's coming from, and trying to weed through the noise of the personal attacks. Have you experienced that, and how would you decipher through that?
I love what you just said about listening to the person and not the problem, which is why we take things so personally, is that If we were in a conversation with a perfect stranger who disagreed with us, it would be one thing. But if we were in a conversation with our spouse who consistently disagreed with us, it's a far greater thing. I've constantly been told that there is no one in the world, and I think you would agree with me, and most husbands, there's no husband in the world who would not agree with the fact that a wife has the ability to make us feel like a absolute superstar, but then with the same mouth makes us feel like a complete failure, because our wife is the one who lives closest to us and she sees us at our absolute worst, and so she has the potential to set us up to be the hero or to be the villain in an every case situation. And so we tend to take things more personally from those who are closer to our person. But if we could simply flip the scales and try to see things from their point, from their stance, if it's circumstantial, if it's related to a certain season, if it's a particular point of stress that they are dealing with, and to simply work yourself out of the picture, because it's not always about me. Matter of fact, most of the time it's not about me. And I find it's when I'm the most consistently disappointed by a lack of expectation, it's because my thoughts are self-centered and not others-centered, which is another way to remain unoffendable.
And I got to be honest, it takes time. It takes possibly years to develop this thick skin to not be offendable, because at first it hurts. We're vulnerable. We want that acceptance by other people. And what I have found to be a good technique is to either, if it's on the computer, you see these negative comments, it's just a step away. Don't address it. Or if it's a person, say, I just need a moment. Let's revisit this later, because right now I'm too much in the moment and I'm taking this personal. I got to start over.
And that is true wisdom that waits. Wisdom that waits. And here's a clever way to put it. Wisdom that waits is one that walks away. Wisdom that waits is one that walks away, because nothing good is going to come from a response in an emotionally charged situation. Nothing.
Bo, thank you so much. Great discussion. If you have a question for Bo, use the hashtag AskBoParrish on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube. Bo, thank you. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Dave. Have a great week.